Have you ever woken in the morning and felt the weight of yesterday's worries still pressing on your chest? The argument that won't leave your mind, the harsh word you can't take back, the fear that whispers you're not enough, you've never been enough? At 60, 70, or beyond, you might think these patterns would have loosened by now. That wisdom would have brought some relief. But the truth many of us carry in silence is this: the mind, left untended, doesn't soften with age, it tightens. The same thoughts loop endlessly, wearing grooves deeper into the heart. I remember sitting with an 81-year-old woman named Eleanor during a quiet afternoon at a Buddhist meditation center in Vermont. We were drinking tea, watching the afternoon light filter through pine branches. She looked at me with eyes that had seen decades of living and said something I've never forgotten. I spent my whole life believing that if I just worked hard enough, if I just kept my head down and did everything right, peace would come. But here I am, and my mind is still at war with itself. The battlefield has just moved indoors. That image stayed with me. Because she's right. For so many of us, the real struggle isn't with the world outside, but with the relentless voice inside. The Buddha understood this deeply. Over 2,500 years ago, he described the mind as a wild horse, untamed and reactive, pulling us wherever it pleases. But he also taught something profoundly hopeful. This mind can be trained, not through force, not through perfection, but through gentle, patient cultivation. What we call positive thinking in Buddhist wisdom isn't about painting everything with false brightness or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about learning to see clearly, to meet what arises with steadiness rather than storm. Today, we'll walk through 12 teachings from the Buddha about cultivating a mind that serves your peace rather than stealing it. This isn't theory. These are practices you can begin right now, in this very breath. Whether you're carrying decades of hurt or simply tired of the mental noise, these ancient truths offer a way through. Not a quick fix, but a path. And the beautiful thing about a path is this: you don't need to see the whole journey to take the first step. 1. The mind creates weather, not just thoughts. Close your eyes for a moment and notice what's happening inside. What kind of atmosphere fills your inner world right now? Is it stormy, thick with anxiety? Is it foggy with confusion? Or perhaps it feels clear, still, spacious. The Buddha taught that every thought we entertain doesn't just pass through the mind like a neutral visitor. Each thought shapes the climate of our consciousness. Some thoughts bring thunderstorms of anger, others cast shadows of doubt, and some, if we learn to cultivate them, open windows to light. When you were younger, maybe you could outrun the storms. You stayed busy, distracted, moving fast enough that you didn't have to sit in the weather you were creating. But at this stage of life, there's less noise to hide behind. The house is quieter. The calendar has more space. And suddenly, you're sitting alone with the weather patterns you've been generating for decades. A retired schoolteacher named Margaret once described it to me this way: I thought retirement would feel like freedom, but instead, I woke up every morning to the same anxious thoughts I'd been ignoring for 40 years. Without the students, the lesson plans, the meetings, there was nothing left but me and my worried mind. She paused, then added softly, "It was terrifying at first. Like meeting a stranger I'd been living with all along." This is what the Buddha meant when he spoke of the mind as a creator of reality. Not that we can think our problems away or manifest perfect lives through wishful thinking, but that the quality of our thoughts directly shapes the quality of our lived experience. Two people can sit in the same room, facing the same circumstances, yet one dwells in inner torment, while the other rests in quiet acceptance. The difference isn't in what's happening outside, it's in the weather they're cultivating inside. You cannot control every thought that arises, any more than you can control whether it rains. But you can choose which thoughts to water, which to let pass, and which inner climate you're willing to live in. When a fearful thought appears, you can ask, do I want to build my day inside this storm? Or can I step back, notice it for what it is, just weather passing through, and choose a gentler internal space? The practice begins with noticing, just that. When you catch yourself spiraling into catastrophic thinking, pause. Take one conscious breath. Name what's happening. This is the weather of worry. Don't judge it. Don't force it away. Simply acknowledge that you are not your thoughts. You are the vast sky that holds them all, and the sky, no matter how fierce the storm, remains unchanged. 2. The mind as a sacred garden. Imagine your mind as a garden. For decades, you've planted seeds, some intentionally, most without awareness. Thoughts of fear, comparison, old hurts, unfinished conversations, these grow like weeds if left unattended. They spread roots, crowd out space, consume your energy. And before you know it, the garden that could have been a sanctuary has become overgrown, tangled, difficult to walk through. The Buddha often used the metaphor of cultivation. He said that just as a farmer prepares soil, plants seeds, waters carefully, and removes what doesn't belong, so too must we tend the garden of consciousness. This isn't a one-time effort. It's daily work, gentle work. The work of noticing what's growing and choosing what deserves your attention. I once met a man named Thomas, 76, who had spent most of his life as a successful contractor. He built homes, managed crews, solved problems with his hands, but after his wife passed away, he found himself alone in a house that suddenly felt too large, and a mind that felt even larger, filled with regret and what-ifs. One morning, unable to sit still with his thoughts, he walked outside to the neglected garden his wife had once loved. The weeds had taken over. Everything she'd planted was barely visible beneath the tangle. He told me, I started pulling weeds just to do something with my hands, but as I worked, something shifted. Every weed I removed felt like I was clearing space inside myself too. The self-criticism, the guilt, the belief that I should have done more for her, it was all just overgrowth, choking out what was still alive underneath. Over months, he restored that garden. And in the process, he began to understand what the Buddha meant about cultivation. You can't force flowers to bloom, but you can create conditions where they're more likely to grow. Each morning offers a fresh start. You can plant a new intention like a seed. Today, I will notice beauty. Today, I will speak gently to myself. Today, I will pause before reacting. These aren't grand declarations. They're small acts of planting something wholesome in the soil of your awareness. And what you plant today shapes what grows tomorrow. Water those seeds with attention. When you notice yourself smiling at a bird outside the window, linger there a moment. That's watering joy. When you catch a critical thought about your aging body, pause and whisper a word of gratitude instead. Thank you for carrying me all these years. That's watering compassion. The weeds, doubt, fear, bitterness will still appear. They always do. But when you stop feeding them with your attention and instead nourish what you want to grow, slowly, the garden transforms. The Buddha taught that what we repeatedly think becomes the shape of our mind. If you spend your days dwelling in resentment, resentment becomes your home. If you train yourself to return again and again to gratitude, even in small ways, gratitude becomes the ground you stand on. You get to choose, not always what arises, but always what you cultivate. 3. Choose the thought that supports you. There's a practice in Buddhist teaching called wise effort. It's not about forcing yourself into fake positivity or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Wise effort means recognizing that you have some agency over where your mind goes next. When two thoughts appear, one that tears you down and one that holds you steady, you can choose which one to follow. Let me be clear. This doesn't mean denying reality or bypassing grief. If you've lost someone you love, of course you feel sorrow. If your body hurts, of course there's pain. The Buddha never asked us to pretend suffering doesn't exist. What he did ask is that we stop piling additional suffering on top of what's already there. He called this the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain of what happened. The second arrow is the story we tell ourselves about it, the judgment, the self-blame, the endless replay that keeps us stuck. Someone cuts you off in traffic, that's the first arrow. Spending the next hour fuming, imagining confrontations, calling them names in your head, that's the second arrow. And it's the second arrow that does most of the damage. At 70, you've been hit by many arrows. Loss, disappointment, health challenges, relationships that shifted or ended. You cannot undo those first arrows, but you can learn to stop shooting the second one. You can learn to meet each moment with a gentler thought. Here's what this looks like in practice. Let's say you forget someone's name mid-conversation. Immediately, a thought arises. I'm losing my mind. I'm getting old. This is only going to get worse. That thought is a choice point. You can follow it down into worry and shame, or you can choose a different thought. I forgot a name. It happens. My brain has stored 70 years of names. That's a lot of information to manage. One thought spirals you into suffering. The other lets you move on with ease. This isn't pretending. It's precision. It's asking yourself, which thought is true and which thought is kind? Often, the harsh thought feels true because we've believed it for so long. But when you examine it closely, you find it's just a habit, a worn groove in the mind. And habits can be changed, not overnight, not through willpower alone, but through the patient practice of noticing, pausing, and choosing again. The Buddha taught right thought as part of the Eightfold Path. Right thought doesn't mean perfect thought. It means thought that moves you toward freedom rather than bondage, thought that opens rather than closes, thought that nourishes rather than depletes. Millimeter by millimeter, you shift, one kinder thought at a time. And over days, weeks, months, you discover something miraculous. The voice in your head has softened, the inner critic has quieted. And in its place, a gentle companion emerges, one who meets you with patience instead of judgment. 4. Purify the root of the thought. Have you ever noticed that certain negative thoughts keep returning no matter how many times you try to push them away? You tell yourself to stop worrying, but the worry blooms again. You decide not to dwell on past mistakes, yet there they are, waiting in the quiet moments. This is because thoughts, like plants, have roots. And if you only trim the leaves without addressing what's underground, they'll keep growing back. The Buddha understood that surface-level solutions rarely work for deep patterns. He taught that unwholesome thoughts arise from 3 root poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. In modern language, we might say craving, aversion, and ignorance. These aren't moral judgments, but descriptions of how the mind creates suffering. When we want what we don't have, when we resist what is, when we misunderstand the nature of reality, these are the conditions from which painful thoughts spring. A woman named Diane, 68, came to a meditation retreat carrying decades of anger toward her sister. They hadn't spoken in 15 years. She told me, "I keep trying to let it go. I tell myself to forgive and move on. But every time I think of her, the rage comes back just as strong." I asked her, "What's underneath the anger?" She was quiet for a long time. Then, softly, "I feel unseen, like I never mattered to her." That was the root. Not the anger itself, but the deep wound of feeling unimportant. The anger was just how that pain expressed itself, year after year. Once she could name the root, she could begin to work with it, not by forcing forgiveness, but by offering compassion to the part of herself that had been hurt. By acknowledging the pain without letting it define her. This is what purifying the root means. It's not about uprooting everything violently or becoming some perfectly peaceful being. It's about getting curious. When a harsh thought appears, instead of immediately believing it or fighting it, you ask, "What's feeding this? What am I afraid of? What old belief is this thought protecting?" Often, you'll find that negative thinking is actually a defense mechanism, a way your mind tries to keep you safe from disappointment, rejection, or vulnerability. The Buddha taught that understanding leads to freedom. When you see clearly how a thought is born, it loses some of its power over you. You realize, "Oh, this isn't truth speaking. This is an old fear trying to protect me in a way that no longer serves." And in that recognition, space opens. You don't have to act on every thought. You don't have to believe every story your mind tells. You can say gently, "I see you, old fear. Thank you for trying to help, but I'm okay now." Tending to the roots requires patience. You won't transform decades of conditioning in a single meditation session. But each time you pause to investigate, each time you meet a painful pattern with curiosity instead of judgment, you're loosening the soil. You're creating conditions for new growth. And slowly, the thoughts that once dominated your inner landscape begin to lose their grip. 5. Transform self-criticism into compassion. Let me ask you something. If a dear friend came to you with their struggles, would you respond the way you speak to yourself? Would you tell them they're too old, too slow, not good enough? Would you list their failures and mock their limitations? Of course not. You'd speak with gentleness, with understanding. You'd remind them of their strength and their worth. Yet somehow, when it comes to our own minds, we forget this kindness. We become our own harshest critics. The Buddha taught what's called metta, often translated as loving kindness. It's the practice of extending goodwill toward all beings, including ourselves. In fact, especially ourselves. Because if your heart is closed to your own suffering, it will struggle to truly open to others. Self-compassion isn't selfish. It's the foundation from which genuine compassion flows. I met a retired nurse named Helen who had spent 40 years caring for others. She was beloved by patients, respected by colleagues, known for her tireless dedication. But when she retired and could no longer define herself through her work, she fell apart. I kept thinking, what am I now? Just an old woman who's no longer useful. The voice in her head was brutal, relentless. She would never have spoken to a patient the way she spoke to herself. During a meditation session, the teacher invited everyone to place a hand on their heart and whisper, "May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am." Helen told me later that she couldn't even finish the phrases. She started crying, not from sadness, but from recognizing how long she'd been withholding that tenderness from herself. This is the work of transforming self-criticism, not by denying your flaws or pretending everything is perfect, but by meeting yourself with the same warmth you'd offer someone you love. When you stumble, instead of berating yourself, you might say, "This is hard. I'm doing my best." When you feel inadequate, instead of spiraling into shame, you might whisper, "I am worthy of kindness, especially from myself." The Buddha said that a compassionate mind is one of the most powerful forces in existence. It doesn't mean weakness or permissiveness. It means seeing clearly, without the distortion of judgment. A wounded mind attacks itself. An awakened mind holds itself gently, knowing that everyone struggles, everyone has limits, and that doesn't diminish their value. Practice this. When you notice harsh self-talk arising, pause. Place your hand on your heart, take a slow breath, and ask, "What would I say to a friend in this moment?" Then say that to yourself. It will feel awkward at first, maybe even silly. That's okay. You're learning a new language, the language of self-kindness. And like any new language, it takes time to become fluent. What you'll discover, slowly, is that the inner critic loses its power when you stop feeding it with belief. It becomes just another voice, one you can acknowledge without following. And in the space where criticism once lived, something gentler grows. Not perfection, not constant happiness, but a steady, quiet kindness that holds you through whatever comes. That, the Buddha taught, is true strength. 6. Direct energy toward what you can transform. There's a teaching in Buddhism about wise effort. It recognizes that we have limited energy, especially as we age. Our days are shorter, our reserves not what they once were. So the question becomes, where will you spend the precious energy you have? Will you pour it into worry about things you cannot control? Or will you direct it toward what you can actually influence? Worry, the Buddha taught, is like a candle burning in the wind. It consumes your light without illuminating anything. You stay up at night replaying scenarios that haven't happened, imagining worst-case outcomes, trying to control the uncontrollable through sheer mental force. And in the morning, you wake exhausted, having solved nothing. The worry didn't prevent the problem. It just stole your peace. A man named Robert, 74, spent years consumed with anxiety about his adult children. Would they make good choices? Would they be okay? He couldn't stop himself from offering unsolicited advice, from checking in constantly, from lying awake imagining all the ways their lives might go wrong. It was exhausting for him and frustrating for them. One day, his daughter told him gently, "Dad, I love you, but I need you to trust that I can handle my own life." He came to meditation practice, carrying that conversation like a stone. How do I stop worrying when I love them so much? The teacher said something that shifted everything. Love doesn't require worry. Love can be expressed through trust, through releasing what you cannot control, through offering support when asked, not forcing it when it's not wanted. This is the practice, learning to distinguish between concern and worry. Concern notices a problem and takes wise action if action is available. Worry spins in circles, creating suffering without creating solutions. When you find yourself worrying, pause. Ask yourself, is there something I can do right now about this? If yes, do it. If no, let it go. Not because you don't care, but because worrying doesn't help. The Buddha taught that real power comes from directing attention skillfully. Instead of scattering your energy across 1,000 imagined disasters, focus it on this moment, this breath, this small step you can take. Can you call a friend today? Can you tend your garden? Can you sit quietly and simply be present with what is? These are the actions that actually change your experience. These are where your energy bears fruit. At this stage of life, you've earned the right to choose your battles wisely. You've earned the right to say, "This is not mine to carry." Let go of trying to control what others think. Let go of rehashing past conversations you cannot change. Let go of fearing futures that haven't arrived. Bring your precious attention back here, now, where life is actually happening. What you'll find is that when you stop leaking energy through worry, you suddenly have more of it available for what matters. More patience, more creativity, more capacity for joy. The Buddha called this right effort, not forcing, not straining, but placing your attention where it can actually make a difference. In your kindness, in your presence, in your small, quiet acts of care. 7. Train your eyes to recognize beauty. The mind has a strange habit. It notices what's broken, what's missing, what's wrong. This isn't your fault. It's how human brains evolved to scan for danger, to spot problems, to protect us from harm. But left unchecked, this tendency turns everything into deficit. You look in the mirror and see only wrinkles. You think of your life and catalogue only regrets. You sit in a beautiful moment and notice the one thing that isn't perfect. The Buddha taught that we can train perception, just as a musician trains their ear to hear subtle notes, or a gardener trains their eye to spot new growth. You can train your awareness to recognize beauty, goodness, and grace, not by denying what's difficult, but by balancing the scale, by reminding yourself that both exist, always. I remember walking with an elderly monk in the mountains of Northern California. He moved slowly, his steps careful on the uneven path. At one point, he stopped, leaned on his walking stick, and pointed to a tiny wildflower growing between rocks. "Do you see?" he asked. I nodded. "Most people walk right past," he said. "They're looking ahead, thinking about where they're going. But the flower is here, now. It doesn't wait for us to be ready. It blooms anyway." That simple moment has stayed with me for years, because he was right. How often do we walk through our days focused only on what's missing, what hurts, what's not enough? We miss the small gifts scattered everywhere: the morning light, the taste of coffee, the sound of rain, the fact that we woke up today, that our hearts are still beating, that we're still here to witness this improbable life. This is not about forced positivity or pretending hardship doesn't exist. It's about training your awareness to include the full picture. Yes, your knees ache. And also, the sun is warm on your face. Yes, you've lost people you love. And also, their love changed you forever and still lives in how you move through the world. Yes, things are not what they were. And also, something new is unfolding if you're willing to see it. The Buddha spoke of cultivating gladness as a spiritual practice. Each morning, before the day begins, name 3 things you're grateful for. Not big things necessarily, just true things. I'm grateful I can still walk. I'm grateful for this tea. I'm grateful for silence. These small acknowledgements are like drops of water in dry soil. Over time, they change the landscape. Ask yourself, what is blossoming in my life right now, even quietly? Maybe it's a new friendship. Maybe it's finally having time to read. Maybe it's the peace that comes from no longer needing to prove anything. Whatever it is, linger there. Let yourself feel it. Because gratitude isn't just a thought, it's a vibration that shifts your entire being. When you train your eyes to see beauty, you're not ignoring pain. You're refusing to let pain be the only story. You're choosing to honor the complexity of being human, where sorrow and sweetness live side by side. And in that honoring, something shifts. The world doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. you become someone who notices light as much as shadow. And that, the Buddha taught, is the beginning of freedom. 8. Accept without surrendering. There's a teaching in Buddhist wisdom that confuses many people at first. Acceptance. Some hear that word and think it means giving up, becoming passive, tolerating what shouldn't be tolerated. But that's not what the Buddha meant. Acceptance isn't pretending everything is fine. It's facing reality clearly and saying, this is what's here, this is what's true. Now, what's my wise response? The difference is subtle but profound. Surrender means collapsing under the weight of circumstance. Acceptance means standing upright within it, seeing clearly, responding skillfully. It's the difference between being swept away by a river and learning to swim with the current rather than exhausting yourself fighting against it. I once spoke with a woman named Grace, who was diagnosed with chronic pain after a car accident. For years, she fought it. She resented her body. She spent all her energy trying to return to how things used to be. I kept thinking, this isn't right. This isn't fair. I need to fix this. But the pain remained, and the resistance to it created a second layer of suffering, heavier than the pain itself. Then something shifted. She stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, who can I become through this? Not because the pain was good or fair, but because it was real. And denying reality only creates more pain. She began working with her body instead of against it. She learned to rest when needed, move gently, adjust expectations. She accepted that this was her life now, which freed her to actually live it. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from resisting what is. We want things to be different. We think they should be different. And we waste enormous energy fighting with reality, as if our protest could change what's already here. But reality doesn't negotiate. It simply is. And the moment we stop arguing with it, we reclaim all that wasted energy. We can use it for something creative, something healing, something that actually moves us forward. This doesn't mean you stop trying to improve your circumstances. If you can change something, change it. But so often, especially with aging, loss, and the shifts of later life, some things cannot be changed. Your children are grown and living their own lives. Your body has limitations it didn't have before. The past happened as it happened. Fighting these truths doesn't transform them. It only leaves you depleted. Acceptance is an act of radical clarity. It's removing the filter of how you wish things were and seeing what actually is. And from that clear seeing, wise action becomes possible. You stop wasting energy on battles you cannot win and focus instead on what you can influence. Your response, your attitude, your next small step. The Buddha said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Pain is what happens, the loss, the illness, the disappointment. Suffering is what we add through resistance, through the story that this shouldn't be happening. When you accept what is, not with resignation but with clear-eyed presence, you don't eliminate pain, but you do release the extra suffering. And in that release, you find a quiet strength. The strength of someone who has stopped fighting the river and learned, finally, how to float. 9. Speak the way you want to feel. Have you noticed how the words you speak aloud, and even the words you say silently to yourself, shape your inner world? The Buddha taught that speech is not just communication, it's a creative force. Every word you utter plants a seed. Speak words of peace, and peace begins to grow. Speak words of bitterness, and bitterness takes root. This is why right speech is part of the Eightfold Path. Think about how you describe your day when someone asks, Do you immediately list everything that went wrong? The traffic, the ache in your hip, the disappointment, the worry? Or do you balance the account, mentioning also what was pleasant, what you noticed, what small grace appeared? The facts might be the same either way, but the story you tell creates your experience. A retired teacher named Linda once told me she'd fallen into the habit of complaining, not maliciously, just casually. My back hurts. This weather is terrible. I can't believe how rude people are these days. She didn't even realize she was doing it until her granddaughter, visiting for the weekend, said innocently, "Grandma, why are you always so grumpy?" That question landed like a stone, because she didn't feel grumpy inside, but her words had created a grumpy reality. She made a small commitment. For 1 week, she would try to speak only words that reflected how she wanted to feel: peaceful, grateful, kind, not lying or suppressing truth, but choosing her words more carefully. If her back hurt, she might say, "My back is tender today, so I'm moving gently." If the weather was grey, she might say, "It's a cozy day for tea and reading." Same circumstances, different story. Within days, she noticed a shift. Not in the facts of her life, but in her relationship to them. She felt lighter, less burdened, and people around her responded differently too. They smiled more, stayed longer. Her granddaughter said on her next visit, "Grandma, you seem happier." The Buddha understood that words create worlds. When you speak words of anger, you strengthen the neural pathways of anger in your brain. When you speak words of kindness, you reinforce kindness. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience meeting ancient wisdom. Your brain believes what you repeatedly tell it, so tell it something that serves your peace. This practice extends to self-talk, which is often the most damaging speech of all. How do you narrate your inner life? With criticism or encouragement? With defeat or possibility? When you make a mistake, do you say, "I'm so stupid"? Or do you say, "That didn't go as planned, but I can learn from it"? One closes the door, the other keeps it open. Try this. Before speaking, pause. Ask yourself, will these words bring more light or more shadow? You don't have to be artificially positive. You don't have to pretend. Just speak with intention. Choose words that honor truth while also honoring peace. The Buddha called this speaking what is beneficial, what is true, and what is spoken at the right time. Over time, this practice transforms your inner atmosphere. The harsh critic softens, the anxious storyteller quiets. And in their place, a voice emerges that speaks to you the way you'd speak to someone you deeply love, with patience, with respect, with the understanding that you're doing your best, and that's enough. 10. Guard what enters through your senses. The Buddha taught that the mind is shaped not only by what arises from within, but also by what enters from without. Your senses are gates, and what you allow through those gates either nourishes your peace or disturbs it. This is especially important to understand now, in a world that never stops broadcasting noise, urgency, and fear. Think about your day. What do you consume? Not just food, but information, images, conversations, sounds. Do you wake and immediately turn on the news, filling your mind with crises before you've even had your coffee? Do you scroll through social media, comparing your quiet life to everyone else's highlights? Do you listen to people who leave you feeling drained rather than uplifted? The Buddha didn't tell his followers to withdraw from the world entirely, but he did teach discernment. He said to be mindful of the company you keep, the media you consume, the environments you enter. Everything that touches your awareness leaves an imprint, and if you're not careful, you can fill your inner world with poison without ever realizing it. An elderly man named Arthur shared with me that after his wife died, he spent months watching cable news for hours every day. It was just background noise at first. I didn't want the house to be so quiet, but gradually he noticed he felt agitated all the time, anxious, angry about things he had no control over. His blood pressure went up. His sleep worsened. One morning, he turned off the television and sat in silence. The quiet was uncomfortable at first, but slowly he began to feel something he hadn't felt in months. Calm. He didn't stop caring about the world. He still read a newspaper, but he became intentional about how much he let in and when. He protected his mornings, keeping them quiet, letting himself wake gently. He chose conversations with people who nourished him rather than depleted him. He started listening to music again. He noticed birds. His inner world began to clear. This is the practice of guarding the sense gates, not by shutting everything out, but by choosing consciously. Ask yourself, does this conversation uplift me or drain me? Does this program bring insight or just stir anxiety? Does this person's energy feel kind or corrosive? You cannot control what exists in the world, but you can control what you invite into your consciousness. The Buddha said that the mind is like a house. If you leave all the doors and windows open, anything can wander in: thieves, pests, storms. But if you're mindful, you can choose what enters. You can close the door to what harms and open the window to what heals. This isn't about fear or rigid control. It's about honoring your own peace as sacred. In practical terms, this might mean limiting news consumption to once a day. It might mean saying no to people who always complain but never listen. It might mean choosing silence over noise, nature over screens, solitude over draining social obligations. You're not being antisocial. You're being wise. You're recognizing that at this stage of life, your energy is precious, and you get to decide where it goes. When you guard your senses with care, your inner world becomes a refuge. You're no longer at the mercy of whatever storms are blowing outside. You've created a space within where peace is possible, no matter what's happening beyond your walls. And from that inner sanctuary, you can engage with the world more fully, more kindly, because you're not constantly overwhelmed by it. 11. Breathe to return to the present. Here's a truth the Buddha understood deeply. The mind left to itself rarely stays in the present moment. It drifts into the past, replaying old conversations, old hurts, old mistakes. Or it leaps into the future, imagining worst-case scenarios, rehearsing anxieties that haven't happened yet. Either way, you're not here. You're somewhere that doesn't actually exist anymore, or doesn't exist yet. And in that absence, peace becomes impossible. This is why the breath is so central to Buddhist practice. Not because breathing is mystical or magical, but because breath is always here, always now. You cannot breathe in the past. You cannot breathe in the future. Breath exists only in this moment, and when you bring your attention to your breath, you anchor yourself in the only place where life is actually happening. When you find yourself caught in dark thoughts, replaying an argument, worrying about tomorrow, spiraling into fear, your breath is the fastest way back. Not back to happiness necessarily, but back to reality. Back to the simple, undeniable fact that right now, in this moment, you are okay. You are breathing. You are here. A woman named Joan, 79, told me that for years she suffered from nighttime anxiety. The moment her head hit the pillow, her mind would race. All the worries of the day, all the fears about tomorrow, all the regrets about yesterday would flood in. She'd lie awake for hours, exhausted but unable to stop thinking. Then someone taught her a simple practice. Count your breaths. Breathe in, 1, breathe out, 2, in, 3, out, 4. When you reach 10, start again. If your mind wanders, and it will just notice and gently return to 1. No judgment, no forcing, just breath and counting and returning. She said, "At first, I couldn't even make it to 3 before my thoughts took over, but I kept trying, and slowly something shifted. My body remembered how to relax. The thoughts didn't stop, but they stopped controlling me." The Buddha taught that breath is a tool for reorganizing your energy. When you're scattered, breath gathers you. When you're tense, breath softens you. When you're lost in thought, breath brings you home. It doesn't solve your problems or make difficulties disappear, but it creates a ground beneath your feet, a place to stand, a reminder that this moment, whatever it holds, is survivable. Try this now. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it gently for a moment. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, as if you're releasing everything you've been carrying. Do it again. Feel your chest rise and fall. Notice how your body knows exactly what to do. You don't have to force breath. You just have to allow it. In that allowing, something quiets. The storm of thought doesn't stop, but you realize you're not the storm. You're the awareness that holds it. You're the sky, vast and unchanged, while clouds pass through. The breath reminds you of this. Over and over, it says, "You are here, you are alive, this moment is enough." The more you practice returning to breath, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you won't need to sit formally or count or even think about it. You'll just notice, in the middle of your day, that you've paused, taken a conscious breath, and felt yourself settle. That pause, that single breath, can be the difference between reacting and responding, between spiraling and steadying, between losing yourself and coming home. 12. Choose the interpretation that frees you. Here's one of the most powerful teachings the Buddha offered. Every situation holds multiple interpretations. You can look at the same moment and see tragedy or opportunity, ending or beginning, loss or liberation. The facts don't change, but the meaning you assign to them shapes everything. This is not about positive thinking in the shallow sense, pretending everything is great when it's not. It's about recognizing that you have some choice in how you frame what happens to you, and that choice, over time, determines whether you live in a prison of your own making or step into a larger freedom. There's an old Zen story about 2 travelers on a narrow bridge. At the far end stood a terrifying guardian, massive and fierce, blocking the way. The first traveler, paralyzed by fear, turned back. The second traveler, heart pounding but determined, walked forward. As he got closer, he realized the guardian wasn't real. It was a shadow, created by his own fear and the angle of the sun. He walked through it and continued on his way. The story asks, how many times has fear stopped you? How many guardians have you believed in that were only shadows? How many stories have you told yourself that trapped you in suffering when a different interpretation could have set you free? An elderly man named Paul lost his business during a recession. For months, he was devastated. He saw himself as a failure, his life as wasted. He replayed every decision, every mistake. The story he told himself was, "I lost everything. I'm too old to start over. My life is essentially over." And in believing that story, he sank into depression. Then one day, a friend asked him, "What if this isn't an ending? What if it's the beginning of something you couldn't have imagined while you were busy running that business?" Paul dismissed the idea at first, but the question lingered. Slowly, he began to consider what might be possible now that wasn't possible before. What had he always wanted to explore but never had time for? He didn't get his business back, but he discovered passions he'd forgotten: woodworking, mentoring young entrepreneurs, spending time with grandchildren. Years later, he said, "Losing the business was the hardest thing that ever happened to me, but looking back, it freed me. I was so identified with that role that I'd lost myself. The loss forced me to ask who I was beyond what I did." This is the practice, asking yourself, what's another way to see this? You don't have to believe the new story completely, you just have to hold it as possible, and in that possibility, a door opens. The situation doesn't change, but you do. You're no longer at the mercy of a single narrative. The Buddha taught that attachment to views causes suffering. Not because having perspectives is wrong, but because clinging to one interpretation, insisting it's the only truth, locks you in. When you hold your stories lightly, when you remain open to seeing differently, you give yourself room to move, room to grow, room to heal. So when something difficult happens, pause before the story hardens. Ask, is there another way to understand this? Could this thing I'm calling a disaster also be a doorway? Could this ending also be a strange, unexpected beginning? You don't have to force optimism. You just have to stay open to the possibility that reality is larger and more mysterious than your first interpretation suggests. Over a lifetime, you'll face countless challenges. Some you chose, many you didn't, but in every case, you get to decide what those experiences mean. Whether they break you or shape you, whether they define you or refine you, that choice, that interpretation is your freedom. And it's always, always available. Closing. The practice that changes everything. We've walked through 12 teachings together, 12 invitations from the Buddha about how to cultivate a mind that serves your peace rather than stealing it. But here's the truth. Understanding these teachings intellectually changes nothing. The transformation happens only in the practice, only in the daily patient return to these principles, again and again. The mind is not your enemy. It never was. It's simply been left without guidance for too long, running on old programs, repeating worn patterns. But when you begin to tend it gently, without force, with the same care you'd give a garden or a dear friend, it remembers its true nature. Clarity, calm, home. I think of Eleanor, the woman I mentioned at the beginning, who said her mind was still at war with itself. After years of practice, I saw her again. She'd aged, moved more slowly, but something in her face had softened. I asked how she was. She smiled and said, "I'm not at war anymore. The battlefield is still there sometimes, but I've learned I don't have to fight every battle. Some days, I just sit and watch the thoughts march by. And they do. They always do." That's the gift of this practice. Not that you become perfect or enlightened or free from all difficulty, but that you learn to meet what arises with less reactivity, less suffering, less grip. You learn that thoughts are just weather, that you are the sky, vast and capable of holding it all. And in that knowing, a quiet freedom emerges. So where do you begin? Right here, right now. With this breath, with this moment. Maybe today you choose just one teaching from what we've explored. Maybe you decide to tend your mental garden by planting one kind thought each morning. Maybe you practice speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to a beloved friend. Maybe you guard your senses by turning off the news an hour earlier. Maybe you simply pause, place a hand on your heart, and whisper, May I be peaceful. It doesn't matter which practice you choose. What matters is that you begin, because life is happening now, not someday. Not when you're finally at peace or everything is sorted out. Now, in this imperfect, ordinary, sacred moment. The Buddha said the longest journey begins with a single step. You don't need to walk the whole path today. You just need to take the next step, and then the one after that. Over time, those small steps carry you somewhere you couldn't have imagined. Somewhere lighter, somewhere kinder, somewhere that feels, finally, like home. If this resonated with you, I invite you to try one practice this week. Just one. Notice what shifts. And if you'd like to share your experience, leave a comment below. Let's walk this path together, learning from each other's wisdom and struggles. Remember, you are not broken. You are not too old. You are not beyond transformation. The Dharma is timeless, and every breath is a new beginning. The garden of your mind is waiting, and it's never too late to begin again.